Yeah, you're seeing the title right. Give me a second. It's time to bury these social justice warriors. The fact that there's anybody defending Nia Jax right now appalls me. Straight up appalls me. And I've seen all the different kind of arguments. I've seen every single argument from across the board for a full week, trying to defend this chick, to keep her around and keep her under contract. They're saying, well, maybe they're being a little too hard by saying they should fire her, bring her back down to developmental and whatnot, like Brian Alvarez is saying. Which, by the way, no. Hashtag fire Nia Jax. Um, then you have even more delusional people, and I'm gonna call them. I'm gonna call it how I see it. I'm not gonna be freaking politically correct here. You got more delusional people like Brian Zane, as much as I respect him as a YouTuber, who think that they should ride this out to get the maximum heat possible so they can book Nia Jax versus Becky Lynch. As if anybody wants to see these two in a ring again. No, I don't want to see her get hurt again. Thank you very much. I don't trust her. I don't trust her with Becky's life or career at this stage of the game. I don't. That logic, out the fucking window. Nice try, but there is a bigger problem here that I don't think people are realizing. We're talking about the same bitch who dropped Charlotte on her head for a Canadian or Canadian shoulder breaker. These are the people. This is the person they're defending. I'm not saying all of you are, by the way, because I know there's a lot of people that actually have a brain, including a bunch of people I've seen on Twitter. Hi, Hibiki TMD. Thank God. Love you, Trav. Okay, and God, but there are just these morons that are flat out defending her. And to that I say, you're wrong. You're just wrong. This is where I fall back to my point. It is one thing to have an opinion. It is another reason to be completely ignorant to the fucking facts. Here I go, proving that point yet again. I don't care if you think I sound narcissistic. I don't care if you think I sound like a jackass. I really couldn't give a fuck. Because it's the truth. And you know it's the truth. And I'm about to prove it right here and right now. Let's date all the way back to NXT. I think she had maybe one injury under her belt. So, in fairness, she didn't injure people as much. But then she got to the main roster. Rushed up way too soon, right? She injures Bayley, a key player. She injures Selena Vega, a key player to Almas's career. She almost fucking necked Charlotte, like as aforementioned earlier. And then, the Becky Lynch situation. Okay. Now, that's 2018. Those 4 injuries are all in the same year. All of them. Rollins had maybe, 2? And people are comparing Nia Jax to Ronda Rousey here. Or no, I'm sorry, not Nia Jax to Ronda Rousey. Excuse me. Let me rephrase that. Nia Jax to Seth Rollins. There's no comparison. There is absolutely no comparison, and here's another reason I'm going to disprove once and for all. With Cena and fucking Rollins, and you could tell by the spot, by the way, because Cena blows all his freaking spots. Cena and Rollins miscued that move. That was not just Rollins' fault, and that's why Cena's nose got busted up the way it did. That's the reason. Then you have the whole thing with Sting and Seth Rollins. They're bringing that up. Oh my god. And by the way, this is where I say Bret Hart can piss off. Because he's just dead wrong. Because if he took the same move at Sting's fucking age, he'd have a fucked up back too. Had he not gotten injured before that. Which, by the way, I am sorry for, by the way. That was terrible what happened to him. I'm just saying, as if he were not injured by that point, he would have had an injured back if he was wrestling at that age. That Sting was wrestling. That's my point here. And everyone seems to forget that and dismiss that as a fact. Sting was 50... He was in his 50s when he fought Rollins. Seth Rollins has performed the Buckle Bomb numerous freaking times. Without fail. And has not ever, I mean ever, injured anybody with it. You can't even go back to his Ring of Honor days. And if there is an injury that Seth Rollins maybe caused, I'd be, you know what? I'd be shocked because I haven't heard about it. Maybe there is, and in that case, I don't have all the facts on my end. But as far as WWE, as a full-on pro, he has only injured 3 people, and they were not in the same year. 2 of them were. I'll give you 2 of them. But they were freak accidents. Just like the one with Balor was a complete freak accident. And that one, that was Rollins' fault, legitimately. I will admit that. That was Seth Rollins' fault. He threw him way too soon. Should have waited until he got near the barricade a little more. It fucked up Balor's career because of it. I will be man enough to admit that. However, that was a freak accident. It's not like he went in there with malicious intent. And you know what? He got some proper shit for it. And it's not like it was the worst thing to happen to him, clearly. And in fact, he actually worked on making sure he perfected that move, and he hasn't injured anybody since. If you look at how he does the Buckle Bomb now compared to how he did it back then, it is far less reckless. Which means, guess what? He went to the fucking Performance Center to fix his shit. Or he went somewhere to fix his shit. You cannot tell me one time out of this entire freaking calendar year, year and a half, that Nia Jax has gone to the fucking Performance Center once since she's been called up to the main roster. Okay? Not once did she take the initiative to go down to the freaking Performance Center and work on her moveset. To learn how to throw a worked punch. How long has she been in the business and she can't figure out, oh, well, maybe I can go down to the Performance Center and learn it from Matt Bloom. Huh. She knew. She absolutely knew. She just didn't want to because she was already getting paid. So she didn't feel like she had to. And you know what? She's probably right in that assumption because they just fucking promoted her as sole survivor of the Women's Survivor Series match. Are you fucking kidding me? And everyone's like, well, it goes back to Brian and Zane's point. Don't you want to see Becky Lynch get her revenge? As I said, no, not in the slightest. I don't want her ever in the ring with Nia Jax again. Until she learns how to work. She does not know how to work in a ring. I trust Brian Alvarez to have a better match and a more safer match with Becky Lynch at this point. I trust... Who is the worst botch master that I can think of? Actually, no, because there's been some pretty bad people. But she's definitely up there. I trust. Here's one. I trust the original Sin Cara more than I trust Becky Lynch, because at least with Mystico, he didn't injure his opponent. He only injured himself. And people are defending Nia like all these white knights are coming out of freaking nowhere. Brian Zane included. I don't care what anybody wants to tell me. I love the guy. I respect him. I'll still watch his channel. I'm still subscribed. But he's a white knight. He's a white knight here. The guy has worked in a wrestling ring. He's done that for years. I can't believe he's legitimately saying that, oh, just, she did a horrible thing, but don't you want to see Becky get her revenge? It will build Nia Jax as this monster heel. No. You know what she's going to be? Jinder Mahal. A person nobody wants to see on TV. It's go away heat. It's worse than X-Pac heat. I thought X-Pac heat was go away heat. Nuh-uh. This is worse. This isn't like Vicky Guerrero heat. It's not even close. It's not even on the same ballpark. They booed the shit out of her at Survivor Series because they don't want her to injure anybody else. That's why. That is why. Period. I see more people, by the way, comparing this injury to the Owen Hart-Austin situation. Again, there's no fucking comparison. There are no fucking comparisons between the two. And here's why. Because again, with Austin and Owen, it was a freak accident. Because Owen Hart never did the spot before. Yes, was it on him? Yes, absolutely. Did he have a history of injuring people? No. No, he didn't. He was not known for injuring people. In fact, a lot of people will tell you that have wrestled Owen, including his own brother, he was one of the safest freaking workers in the wrestling business. Period. Okay? He was one of the safest, and that was one of the only times he ever injured. He did not have a track record like Nia Jax did. Same thing with AJ Styles. They were comparing this to AJ Styles' 3 botched Styles clashes, which, by the way, weren't his fault, and the other opponents took the fucking move on. I don't remember the one in TNA, but I do remember Roderick Strong and Yoshitatsu fucked up their necks because they tucked in their neck as opposed to putting their neck up, which I get there's a whole logistics thing to it. Like, it goes against the whole code of how you're trained, but it's not that hard. Instead of tucking your chin in, tuck your neck in. That's not hard. That's not hard. I can do that. I can take this Styles Clash. I mean, the heat of the moment thing might be a different issue. I don't think I'd struggle with that in the heat of the moment. I don't think other wrestlers like Brian Alvarez and Brian Zane, who have actually defended her and saying they shouldn't fire her, I trust them to take the move safely. Because they should know. You know what I mean? But I'm not going to blame the other people for taking the move wrong either. You know what I mean? It was a freak accident, not regardless. And yes, this is a freak accident. I am not denying that what Nia Jax did was an accident. I know it was an accident. That's the problem. She is accident prone. This isn't the only time this year. She is injured 4, possibly 5, if you count one of Alexa Bliss's concussions, which I would not doubt that she was responsible for at least one of them. That's up for debate. But she's definitely been confirmed for 4. And it was the time she almost next Charlotte, the time she gave concussions to, let's see, Selena Vega, Bayley, or no, I think she injured Bayley's arm or something. And then the 2 concussions with Selena Vega, and then the biggest star in the company, Becky Lynch. And yeah, you wonder why people are pissed. Because you just cost the biggest match in Survivor Series. Possibly the biggest match in women's wrestling history. That's what you cost. I'm sorry. Fuck out of here. Go to the fucking B-level indies. There is no excusing your bullshit. And if anybody wants to freaking debate me on this, here's what I do. I propose a challenge. Logan, I hope you're watching this, buddy, because I challenge whoever wants to defend Nia Jax to the great debate. So if you know somebody, Logan, that actually thinks Nia Jax should not be fired and are one of these white knights that are defending her, you let me know, and we'll have a great debate. Don't mean I won't respect them. I'll be respectful. I don't have to be in this video particularly because I'm expressing my opinion and I really don't give a fuck if anybody likes it or not. But I will be respectful in that setting. Because, again, it's not like I don't respect Brian Zane. It's not like I don't respect other people that have defended Nia, like Brian Alvarez and whatnot, saying they shouldn't fire her. I get it. But the writing's on the wall. And the opinion isn't an opinion at that point. It's just wrong. It's just wrong. I get it. Accidents happen. It's one thing when you have an accident once in a while. This has been 4 in the past year. 6 if you count the last year and a half. It's time to release her from her contract and bring somebody else up that deserves the spot way more than she does. That being said, I'm just baffled by these people. And by the way, if you're gonna compare any other indie darling, oh, there's one more point I want to mention actually before I end this. They also compared her to Vader. Vader was stiff. You would have really hated him. Yeah, he was stiff. Guess what? He also never injured a lot of people. Might have injured a couple. Granted, I'll give you that. But he didn't really injure that many fucking people. He really didn't. The one injury that I knew of was the Mick Foley injury, and Mick Foley's even gone on record and saying he did that to himself. So again, not even in the same fucking ballpark. At all. That being said, bye, Nia. It's time to go. I'm not saying you can't come back, but you should be fired. You should not be promoted. The fact that you are is absurdity. And for people like Brian Zane and others to say, well, she'll get monster heat. Yeah, she will. The go-away kind. See you on the Jay Ebert side.